Hello. If you have clicked on this video, then you most likely know of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, if you heard of Sonic the Hedgehog, you most likely heard of these, right? No? Well then. Learn about it, you worthless Generation Z moron! Wait a minute. I am from Generation Z.
How could this happen to me?
Anyways, time to get this video started. Here's the game, and here's my question. Do you remember Sonic 1? The Sega Genesis, or Sega Mega Drive as it was known outside the United States, first released in Japan under the name Mega Drive in 1988. A year later, in 1989, it reached the US shelves under the branding Genesis. Strangely enough, in 1990, it returned to the name Mega Drive for the European launch. Weird branding choices aside, its sleek design and higher graphical capabilities most likely turned a lot of heads due to people's experience with home consoles at the time, was Nintendo's blocky NES. The Genesis library also housed a plethora of sports games, such as the original Madden in 1990. More importantly, the Genesis library also consisted of ports of a popular arcade game. Such games included Altered Beast, Streets of Rage, and Street Fighter 2. Of which I happen to own a copy of. When people think of the Sega Genesis, another thing that would come to mind is Sonic the Hedgehog. The first game, which by the way I'm covering in this video, first released in June of 1991, and was a huge hit. The game inspired a slew of sequels and spin-offs, and even had 2 cartoons running at the same time in 1993. Pingers! But the subject matter of this video is not to talk about the history of this game. Anyways, time to get going. Well, as soon as the game starts, we start on Overused Hill Zone. Just kidding, it's Green Hill, but at this point you'd call it that. It's the first time it had appeared. We can't pin it on something that it would do later on. Anyways, it's Green Hill. It's got the green. It's got the hills. It's got the killer robots. What could possibly go wrong? Anyways, this sets the core gameplay for this, well, most of this game, as you'll see later on. But yeah, pretty fun first level. It's time to get on to some of the core concepts. For example, here you can do 2 things. You can continue speeding the level, like this. Which in turn will net you a huge point bonus. See right there? Oh, what's this? A platform. Don't bend. The nice thing about Green Hill is the fact that it rewards you for going fast, but at the same time, it rewards you for going out of your way and exploring. This trend is continued on to Act 2 of Green Hill, where speed and exploration are your friend. Except this time, they go hand in hand. See that pit behind that set of spikes right there? Looks like a death pit, doesn't it? Take a chance and you find that it's not a death pit, but 20 rings and a shield. However, there is a thing that you need to get past in order to proceed, and that is a breakable wall. If you have not played the game before, then what you need to do is gain up momentum and roll through the wall. Simple stuff. You might be wondering at this point, where's the speed supposed to come in? Well, if you roll fast enough, you'll get through the wall in one shot, and you'll hit another monitor. But this one is different. This is the Speed Shoes monitor. It insanely increases your speed. And this really demonstrates one of the key elements of Sonic games in general from this era, is memorization. Like, you need to remember the object layout of where all the power-ups and enemies are, and use them to your advantage. It appears I have enough rings, so let's check out the special stages and see if they're as good as the levels themselves. Oh my god! These special stages are swirling hell. You have to get through this rotating maze thing. The main objective is to grab the Chaos Emerald. Of course, because these stages are spinning all the time, that's really hard. Plus, you have to get through these breakable blocks to get to the Chaos Emerald. So yeah, not that fun special stages. Anyways, on the Act 3 of Green Hill.
Basically just like Act 1 and 2. Except, unlike Act 1 and 2, there's a boss at the end of this level. So let's reach the end and see what this guy's like. And this is one of the most iconic video game bosses of all time. It's challenging, yet a good beginner's boss. Time to move on. Does this next zone carry on what Green Hill has started? Does it build upon the foundation that Green Hill has laid? The answer is no. Hell no. Welcome to Marble Zone. I like to call it Slow Hell Zone, because there's lava and it's extremely slow. What more could you want out of a Sonic game? I mean, yeah, it's got some momentum physics here and there, like rolling down hills, but that's not much. It's just a really irritating level. The hazard/enemy placement just seems really unfair at some points. One thing that might be a redeeming factor to this zone is the fact that there are hidden rooms which contain extra lives and rings. Well, what can we say about the boss? It's actually pretty creative. I mean, instead of a wrecking ball, you have fireballs shooting out the bottom, which is an increase in difficulty because there's a lava pit separating two platforms, and lava is shooting up out of the pit as you try to jump as Robotnik drops fire onto the platform that you're standing on. It's really actually challenging and is a good step up from Green Hill's boss. So, bad zone, good boss. What's next? Here we are at Springyard Zone, and it's actually pretty good. It brings back a lot of the good things that Green Hill Zone offered, like being able to go fast. Like, the level design is really open and multi-path, which is fun. It also allows you to get creative with your momentum. It even brings back momentum and having prior knowledge of the level layout as a way to get up the higher, quicker paths. There's a spring right next to you, so what you do is roll into the spring. You'll be launched up and land on the platform that has a line of rings and 2 item boxes. Then what you do is take the normal path through the level and use that cool half pipe thing if you want. It's right here. It's this. Anyways, once you get to the springs again, what you want to do is roll up the wall, and because of the extra speed boost, hold right, you'll end up on top of the wall, which means you get to skip over that slow platforming segment and onto a quicker upper path. But then again, I said slow platforming segments. Here is where it retains some of Marble Zone. Slow, boring, deadly platforming. The only thing that I have a problem with is the boss. Right, you're on this bridge, and Robotnik has a spike on the bottom of his eggmobile thing. He tries to stab you with the thing, but at the same time take apart the bridge that you're standing on. The annoying thing about it is if you try to attack him, sometimes the collision will act up and you'll fall through when he's pulling it up. Well, Springyard sure did a good job of improving upon the last 2 levels. Let's see if the next one improves upon it even. Oh jeez, why? Why? Remember all the flaws I pointed out about Marble Zone? Well, imagine those flaws except amplified by 10. Yeah, all the horrible things, unfair enemy placement, spike placement, all back. And the worst part is the water. Let's talk about the water physics. First off, your acceleration is slowed dramatically. Also, from what I can tell, it seems like your jump height is increased underwater, but I'm not sure on that. The worst part about this is the fact that, unlike most video games of the era and their water segments, this game makes you stop and get air bubbles. This thing has a drowning counter. It gives you about 5 seconds in order to get a bubble before you drown. It's really irritating because the gratingly slow speed of the underwater segments was bad enough. Having to stop, break your momentum to get air is what pretty much makes this level even worse. Anyways, here's Act 3 and here's the boss area. It's been a trend in this game where bad level equals a good boss. Let's see what... This boss makes you traverse a vertical shaft that you have to reach the top of and break the capsule. Sounds easy, right? Except for the fact that it has really unfair object placement, and to make it even worse, there's water constantly rising, meaning if you're too slow, you'll be underwater. Even if you do manage to be above the water, if you get hit once, yeah, you're going into the water. Anyways, we got through that hellhole. Now that we got through this watery pit of hell, I do not have much hope. So, the next level is Starlight. This zone is way better. Anyways, it brings back all the things that Green Hill brought in, like going down hills, using your momentum to get to different paths. This is the only other level besides Green Hill to use the loop-de-loops. I mean, Springyard has its half-pipes, but none exactly use this. So one could say it's just a metallic Green Hill, which, yeah, also it brings back the breakable walls. It seems to bring back the best of all zones. Like, even Marble Zone's finding hidden rooms stuff can be seen here. Like, right at the beginning of the first act, roll into the wall that's right in front of you, and you get a bunch of rings and invincibility. I don't have much to say about this level, it's just a good Green Hill, except at night, and it's based from what I think is a construction site. Well, that was a nice breath of fresh air. Let's see what the boss is like. And this breaks trends, because this is the first really good boss in a really good level. I mean, it's just really well thought out and creative. Like, there are 3 seesaws in the boss arena. Robotnik is trying to drop spiked balls on you. What you have to do is launch the spiked balls up onto Robotnik, which is actually really tricky. You can try launching yourself with the seesaws, which makes it easier, but it's kinda satisfying to hit him with the spiked balls. You should be careful of them though, because they explode. This was a really good boss. Now time to see what's next. Welcome to Scrapyard Zone. A decent level, actually. I do not know why people give it so much hate. I mean, is it because it's too difficult and people are a bunch of crybabies? Probably, because I have no trouble with this level. I mean, like, there were times when I was able to get through both Act 1 and 2 without getting hit. True story. And also it has a really good track for what's supposed to be a final level. It just fits so well, and it actually sounds really great. However, some things that I've heard people complain about is bottomless pits, which, yeah, the one at the beginning of Act 1 will throw off anyone playing the zone for the first time. Well, it looks like I reached the end of Act 2, and it looks like a cutscene is playing, sort of. I mean, I still have control of the character. And a force field. Oh look, it's Robotnik jumping in a button. I mean,
Baldy nose hair!
Anyways, the cutscene ends and you fall into a level loading zone. Labyrinth Zone Act 4? Well, crap! Imagine all of the cruelty that Labyrinth Zone had condensed into one tiny act. Just imagine that. Well, once you reach the end of the level, you'll see a bunch of springs. Jump on one of the springs and you'll be launched up into the loading zone for the final boss. Anyways, time for the final boss. And it's lame. It's so easy compared to the rest of the bosses in the game. I mean, to be fair, the lack of rings make it a bit more difficult, so it can pass as the final boss. But at the same time, it just doesn't. I mean, the electricity that the boss slings at you can be easily avoided, and so can the cylinders that go down the crush shield. The only thing that might be problematic is trying to guess where
Baldy nose hair!
will come out. Otherwise, it's painfully easy. And once you've hit him the last time, he explodes, and he tries to get away. Anyways, that was Sonic 1, and does it hold up? No. It's still an okay game, but no it does not. Sonic 1 purists are going to kill me. But yeah, compared to things that existed at the time, it's a good game, definitely. Looking at the genre of 2D platformers as a whole, a lot better has been done since. It's still an okay game. I'd suggest giving it a look if you have not played it before. Anyways, if you liked this video, then please make sure to like and or subscribe, and do not follow me on Twitter because I do not have an account.
What you say?
Anyways, this is my first video, so if you have any any suggestions on improvements I could make, then please shout out. It will really help me. Also, please comment on any other things that you'd like me to review on for a future video. I'm planning on doing a Sonic 2 video in the future, just give me suggestions for anything else. For as long as I have the game, I'll be able to play it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I need to come up with an ending slogan.
Baldy nose hair!